Hey, thanks for joining us on KGW Plus. I'm Blair Best. We'll get a look at your forecast with Rod Hill in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at our top stories. Police are investigating a crash that killed a Mark Morris High School student. Investigators believe alcohol was involved. It happened around 8 o'clock last night near Kelso. That's where they found 18-year-old Eldon Ragsdale trapped underneath the car. He was pronounced dead at the scene. 3 other young people were in the car and were taken to the hospital. Authorities say the vehicle was being driven by a 19-year-old. Once the investigation is complete, law enforcement will look into pressing criminal charges. And Portland police have arrested a man that they believe started a massive fire at a recovery center that was just days away from opening. The multi-million-dollar facility burned down last week. Shortly after, investigators ruled the fire an arson. In an update this morning, Portland police say they arrested 42-year-old Daryl Smith in connection to that fire. Police believe Smith started 3 other fires the same day. He's now sitting in the Multnomah County Jail on charges of second-degree arson, attempted arson, and criminal mischief. And a portion of the Clatsop Loop Trail at Ecola State Park has been closed because of an ongoing slope failure there. Oregon State Park says that portion of the trail is actively collapsing and has completely eroded into the ocean. They say the area is extremely dangerous and that the public is not allowed near it for safety reasons.
We are arriving on scene. He is on eastbound 14. He is off of the freeway.
Okay, new dispatch audio is shedding some more light on an emergency plane landing on SR-14 in Vancouver. Now, this happened over the weekend. This small plane had to land on the highway after it reported having some trouble shortly after takeoff. First responders shut down traffic while they investigated. Fortunately, no one was hurt. John Adams talked with people who saw the whole thing happen.
A regular Saturday afternoon turned into a day one man will never forget. Leon Koziarski was driving on SR-14 next to Pearson Field when he saw a small Cessna aircraft looking for a place to land.
Miracle that no car was right underneath him. There's kind of like a large gap in the highway where most of the cars were just coming on the highway, so there wasn't like a lot of traffic in front of him, thank God.
Koziarski grabbed his phone and recorded this dramatic video of the plane landing in the eastbound lanes of SR-14 about 2 miles from I-5.
He slowed down a little bit. Took him about a full minute to stop, and then eventually he pulled off safely to the right side.
The Cessna had experienced mechanical issues soon after taking off from Pearson Field.
I know that airplane had an issue yesterday, and so they were working on it.
This man, who also flies out of the airport, says the Cessna was on a test flight at the time. He tells us pilots are trained for emergencies just like this one.
It's something that pilots try to practice, but it's not an easy thing to do. The pilot did an outstanding job of both keeping the airplane safe and just getting the thing down safely.
Neither the pilot or any motorists were hurt in the incident. A fortunate ending to a situation that could have been much worse.
The pilot, you could tell he knew what he was doing, and it didn't seem reckless or dangerous to the situation other than the cars being there. But it looked very controlled, so in that sense, it was cool to see.
What a crazy situation. Okay, can you imagine if you're driving, you just saw that plane land like that?
We were talking, what's the protocol? I was a little surprised.
Right.
Even the people behind didn't treat it like an ambulance and maybe pull over and stop, and people just kept in their lane, just driving along.
I thought the same thing. Okay, Rod, you're tracking some rain coming your way tonight.
And we do start, I think the chance of the first raindrop in Portland as early as 5 or 6 o'clock this afternoon. Understand the much better chance, and certainly the much better chance of measurable, anything widespread rain, is not until later this evening into the overnight hours. Now, we've got some breaks or some thinning spots in cloud cover right now, but overall the cloud deck you can see here from the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood expected to be thickening up in the coming hours. Holy cow, Sherwood's up to 68 degrees, so you folks definitely going to surge up into the 70s. Here's the Oregon Zoo camera. Quite a few people out enjoying themselves. A rather nice day. You can see the shadows on the walkway there, 69 up in the West Hills. Here's the cloud cover over the Columbia River, the Interstate Bridge, from the Vancouver Springs at the waterfront. A little bit cooler up near the Columbia, 62. I do believe that, this shows Portland stopping at 69 or 73 or 4 o'clock. I really think we're going to get up to 70 or 71 Clouds will be thickening this afternoon as we progress through it, and then we'll show you a futurecast coming up and track that rain coming in, certainly overnight tonight and certainly the next couple of days. That's ahead of my complete forecast, Blair.
Okay, Rod, we'll see you soon. Well, Oregon Department of Education officials are sharing targets to get students back on track. For years now, kids statewide have lagged in math and reading scores nationally. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz has the latest from state leaders.
The Oregon Department of Education is trying to make school districts more accountable for their students. Over the past couple of years, legislators down in Salem have passed legislation to ensure that students are actually growing and improving in school and that student outcomes are improving in those school districts across the state. Dr. Charlene Williams, the director of the Oregon Department of Education, admits students aren't getting the outcomes they deserve. Last week, the Department of Education shared a plan to improve results. ODE plans to partner with school districts to allow districts to set goals for themselves that are clear and fair. As they've done in the past, ODE will closely track attendance and graduation rates, along with math and reading scores. And some of these goals are really lofty. Right now, fewer than 29% of 8th graders are proficient in math. In the next 4 years, ODE wants to see 52% of 8th graders reach proficiency.
Our kids need to improve, yesterday. And so that's what we're working with the tools we have to do the work we can.
There are stipulations attached here if school districts are not able to meet those goals. If a district goes 2 or more years without seeing close to what the state wants them to see in terms of growth, then that could mean that the state brings in teaching assistants to help teach educators to make sure that student growth is happening and students are learning at the trajectory the state wants to see. That's an idea that other states like Mississippi have used, and it's been really effective. Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
Well, a federal judge has blocked an attempt to penalize healthcare providers who offer gender-affirming care to minors. The ruling stems from a declaration issued last year by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It would have allowed the federal government to cut funding from hospitals providing gender-affirming care to minors. A federal judge says Health and Human Services does not have that authority.
Being able to continue accessing that care and building that foundation in the state of Oregon will only help young people thrive in this state.
So in Oregon, gender-affirming care is protected under a 2023 state law. The court had already blocked the policy during a prior hearing, but this decision makes that ruling official. The Trump administration has not yet said if it will appeal this ruling. An Uber Eats driver using GPS directions got lost in the woods of Mason County. As King 5's Drew Mickelson shows us, that driver ended up relying on a real person for help.
It was late on Sunday night when Sam Cadle had just finished his dinner and had sat down to watch TV when he got a phone call from an Uber Eats driver who said he was stuck in the mud in the middle of the woods.
This will be, I think I'm going on my 10th year now.
Sam Cadle helps people for a living. He's a tow truck driver, and every day is a new adventure.
That's one of my favorite parts of this job is the challenge and having to work it out. It's like a giant puzzle.
Sunday night's challenge, find a driver stuck along a narrow road deep in this dense state-owned timberland just outside of Belfair.
He was just on the other side of this property.
Driving his truck in wasn't going to work.
You still see my footprints from the other night.
So Cadle hiked about a half mile across state property.
He was down in the bottom of that draw right there.
Cadle found the young man who says after making an Uber Eats delivery, he took a wrong turn and his GPS steered him to the unpassable road. The good news, the rescue mission was free.
I'm not charging somebody for something like that. That's my time. I mean, sure, I'm in my tow truck here that belongs to the company, but that's my time. I'm wandering out through the woods. I'm not getting paid for it. It's my time, and I chose to go help him.
The next morning, Cadle and another North Shore towing employee went out with an excavator to pull the car out of the mud.
I think the worst thing we did is I feel a little guilty about it, is we scratched his front bumper up a little bit, pulling it out of there. But all said and done, it's the lesser of all the evils.
Along with that scratch, that rescue driver also got a reminder. People can be more reliable than phones. In Mason County, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Okay. Well, a staple in Oregon's crops is still cashing in. How wheat farmers are keeping up with the international demand for what they grow. That's coming up next.
Want more Sunrise? We got you covered.
You can stream an extra 2 hours of live morning news on KGW streaming apps.
Good morning.
That means more local stories and extended coverage of breaking news.
Plus live weather and traffic updates as they happen.
And this is our first trouble spot of the morning.
We have a gorgeous day coming up.
We are live on KGW Sunrise weekday mornings from 5 to 9. Stream on your time with KGW.
Matt, how long is this break in the rain going to last?
About another day, Christine. Again, another atmospheric river hitting the northwest. This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Well, in the latest in our Fresh from Oregon series, we're taking a look at Oregon's wheat industry. And as Christine Pitawanich explains, it's a huge crop in the state responsible for bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars.
Wheat has been a staple and big economic crop in Oregon for at least 135 years. That's according to the Port of Portland. In fact, did you know the port was created back in 1851 primarily to make sure Oregon wheat could reliably be distributed internationally? Well, to this day, the international market for Oregon wheat is king. In Wasco County,
my family's farm, yeah.
These fields, and it's all wheat?
Yeah, soft white winter wheat.
Stretch as far as the eye can see.
Roughly 2,000 acres is what the family has here. And
David Brewer, who's also vice chairman of the Oregon Wheat Commission, has a lot riding on this land. A lot of history, too.
Well, I'm fifth generation farmer, so it's 143 years, I think, at this point. So
he and the roughly 2,000 wheat farmers in the state rely on the staple crop, which the Oregon Wheat Commission says at the end of the line has more than $800 million in overall economic impact every year.
We grow one of the highest quality soft white wheats in the world.
Thad Aiken is president of the Oregon Wheat League and also a fifth-generation farmer.
And on the same ground in Sherman County, Oregon, about an hour east of the Dalles.
According to the Port of Portland, 90% of the soft white wheat grown in these parts goes to more than 50 countries.
Primarily goes into noodles and sponge cakes, pastries, crackers, things like that. But our biggest export markets are in Asia. So Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Philippines.
The wheat grown on Oregon family farms traveling all over the world to feed other families.
It's pretty wild to think about how, we're pretty small, and to be able to have that big of an outreach makes you real appreciative of how lucky we are. It's a big deal. I'm very proud and happy and blessed to have this opportunity to do this.
The pride felt across the board.
Over 140 some years, somebody had to get up every day and make the right decision. Yeah, But it's an honor to, just as Thad said, to be the one to carry on that tradition. Try to make sure that we're leaving the resource, better, the land, better for the next generation.
In Wasco County, Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.
Let's take you up to Timberline. Some blue sky over the summit, and notice we've opened up all kinds of bare spots after that decent snowfall we had last week. 54 degrees up there. It will be up into the 60s at pass level today. Pretty mild. Your forecast, again, we're tracking a return of rain coming up.
Hi, I'm Christine Padawanich. I'm a journalist at KGW, and I love exploring Portland's amazing food scene. New spot? I'm there. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the good stuff that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
Okay, meteorologist Rod Hill joins us now. Rod, what are you tracking for us today?
We have some definite rain coming in overnight tonight and some showers next couple of days. If we could get a half of an inch of rain, I honestly don't think we will, but if we could, that would put us up close to what we normally would get for April, and we put another decent, rain month into the books.
Good for the plants.
Yeah, and April showers bring what?
Mayflowers.
Mayflowers, yes they do. Okay, all right. Here's our rainmaker, upper level low. It's really turning in a wet day in Northern California and starting to move up into the southwest corner of our state. A lot of what you're seeing on radar, maybe you've got a phone app that shows you radar as well, is returns that the radar is picking up water droplets in the clouds, but nothing is really reaching the ground. So I can't find anything reaching the ground in Salem or McMinnville or even up in the Tillamook. But where you see those returns, that does tell you that we have thicker cloud cover to the south of Portland. Again, Portland's thinned out a little bit. It's really nice out there at noon, but thicker cloud cover will be moving northward up into our area this afternoon. Here we are at 6:30. This is the closer look at Futurecast, just zeroed in here to the west side. This shows a speck of some rain. It does show some decent showers early evening crawling up around Mount Hood. And then while there may be a shower or two late afternoon or evening, this is really the main event that I'm tracking next. It's a pretty good shot of moisture coming in. This would be moving up into our area closer to midnight. Here it is centered over Portland at 2 a.m. And then that continues to push up into Washington. And then we wake up tomorrow morning. I think there will be some scattered showers around. This is 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. But if you look at this, here we are later in the day. Whatever rain totals we pick up tomorrow probably would do well to be a tenth of an inch or so during the day. And then here's Wednesday morning. Really pretty quiet. A few showers later in the day. I mean, can we get a quarter of an inch of rain over the next couple of days? If this model is correct, that would probably be the ceiling of how much we could get. And Thursday we go back to dry, and I think we stay that way into the weekend. Here's Seaside. Look at the surf coming in, some cloudy skies from our live camera. Here we just had that story talking about the areas farm country with wheat east of the Dalles. That's the Oregon Veterans Home camera looking at Mount Hood out there. And here's some folks enjoying the bricks in downtown Portland, what is really a nice noon hour. We're 65 in Portland right now, 64 in Wilsonville, 69 in Beaverton. Portland's high 71. Cooler the next couple days with clouds and some showers, 60 tomorrow, 57 Wednesday. But starting Thursday, another pretty lengthy stretch of really nice April spring weather. That's your update.
I am loving it. Thanks so much, Rod. Okay, after nearly 40 years in service, TriMet's Type 1 train took its final ride. We take you there next.
On weather impact alert days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Trina Green, a morning anchor at KGW and new dog mom to this sweet guy. Meet Barry. I love getting your mornings off to a great start, whether it's sharing stories of resilience and triumph in our community, or following breaking news from Beaverton to Gresham and everywhere in between. We've got you covered, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Saturday was the last chance for a ride on TriMet's Type 1 Max train. After nearly 40 years in service, the train has now retired. To celebrate its retirement, TriMet wanted to give people a final chance to take a ride and say goodbye. TriMet says there isn't enough space to keep the remaining Type 1s with their replacements. They're also about 10 years past their expected service date.
You know, for the last decade or so, decade plus, maybe even 20 years, we haven't been able to source parts for these vehicles, so they had to be manufactured in-house. Our mechanics had to make the spare parts or even salvage them from a spare vehicle. So it's really time for the vehicles to be retired, to be recycled, to be turned into building supplies that we can reinvest into our community.
A single Type 1 train will stick around for rides on a short track at a museum in Brooks. We'll be right back.
KGW News at 11, tracking breaking news when every moment counts.
What an evening for neighbors as this all unfolded.
Alerting you when weather impacts your day.
Doppler radar showing all the rain over us.
Investigating the issues that affect our communities.
Investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi has our top story.
And highlights from the teams you love most.
The champs are here.
The big stories and the facts first, so you can wake up prepared.
Stay up, stay informed with KGW News at 11.
Want more sunrise? We got you covered.
You can stream an extra 2 hours of live morning news on KGW streaming apps.
Good morning.
That means more local stories and extended coverage of breaking news.
Plus live weather and traffic updates as they happen.
And this is our first trouble spot of the morning.
We have a gorgeous day coming up.
We are live on KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9. Stream on your time with KGW.
Okay, happening today in Portland, 420 celebrations are popping up across the city. Voodoo Donut is celebrating with the return of its Blunt Box special. Living House Beer Company is bringing back its 420 tie-dye party. And then the Hollywood Theater is getting in on the fun, hosting 420 Toketacular with a collection of classic psychedelic films. And okay, well, first let's get to the weather. Rod, how are you celebrating 420 today? May I ask?
You know, I don't mind saying it's a little embarrassing, but my schedule is just packed today. I can't really fit it in. You?
Got it. I will be here doing the news.
I mean, I'm going to be dealing with some dried grass. I guess that's close.
Sure, yeah.
Cleaning up the yard a little bit after mowing it yesterday. Okay, that's pretty close, I guess. 71 out there this afternoon. There's a chance of a shower as early as 5 or 6 o'clock, but really we're not looking at much noticeable rain until we get into the overnight hours. And I still think we have more dry than wet the next 2 days with showers expected both days.
Looking forward to the weekend there. That looks beautiful.
Looks really nice, yeah.
Okay, guys, a reminder, we've added more live news to KGW Plus. Tune in to Sunrise exclusively on KGW Plus from 7 to 9 a.m. and then later tonight at 5:30 p.m. We hope to see you then. Have a great day.